I'm just going to mute it.
Hello. Okay. Tracy, you be nice to your body. All right. So we'll come down into your Shavasana. You can be on your back. You can have knees bent. You can have legs straight, whatever works. And we'll just spend the next few moments getting reconnected with some stillness. As well as your breath. So just as you settle in there, just start to notice, without changing anything, just start to notice how your breath feels in terms of the ease, in terms of the depth. Notice how your inhale feels, notice how your exhale feels. Really tap into that physical sensation of the simple part of breathing. Start to now focus a little more on breathing from your diaphragm. So as you inhale, belly rises, rib cage expands, the breath travels up to the throat, and then the exhale reverses that, allowing everything to, and your breath to exit your body. Take your time with your breath, seeing if you can lengthen the breath. And just noticing, using this time as almost an opportunity to find that stillness of body and meditative quality of the breath. For the next 2 minutes, I'd like you to work on counting of your inhale and counting of the exhale. So working towards a 4 to 6 count inhale and a 4 to 6 count exhale. Staying present with the counting will help you stay present with yourself. Make your next inhale your biggest, most complete inhale. And a big sighing out, exhale. On your next inhale, let's sweep those arms up and overhead. Let's clasp the fingers and flip the palms to the back of the room. And let's give a really long body stretcher, reaching for length on one side of the body, reaching for length on the other side of the body, maybe pointing and flexing your ankles, your feet, and just noticing what you notice. And then you can exhale and bring those arms down. As you inhale, let's hug knees towards chest and just lightly hug on the outside of the knees and just very gently rock from side to side. Keeping length to your spine, your tailbone, your sacrum as best you can connected to the mat. And just relax through the feet and the ankles. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and keep the back of your neck long. Just very relaxed here. Bringing the knees nice and wide, but still hugging the knees in towards the chest. Just notice what you notice here in terms of your hips. If there's any discomfort in the knees, you can just hug under the knees, gently hugging through the thighs. Just gently rocking from side to side. Back to stillness. Let's take one hand on each one hand on the top of each knee and just create big circles of the knees on the ceiling. So moving the hips through their sockets slowly, mindfully. Bringing the knees together and towards you, and then drawing the knees away and apart. Just again, noticing, really finding that optimal movement in your hips for you. And then reversing that, taking the knees apart and wide as you bring them back towards you and together. Knees are drawing those big circles on the ceiling as you circle the hips in the socket. Good. Let's place the feet on the floor as wide as your yoga mat. Bring your arms to a T, palms up towards the ceiling, and gently just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Just explore the hip rotations here. Trying to keep the spine long, shoulders relaxed, and just gently taking the knees from side to side. You can actively reach the thighs towards the mat. And just imagine or really connect to that feeling of the hips turning in and the hips turning out as opposed to the whole pelvis just moving from right and left. Think of the hips rotating in the sockets. See if you can recreate that. Good. Bringing the knees back up through center, keeping the feet hip width apart, snuggle the heels towards your toes a little bit more. Cross your left ankle over your left thigh or right thigh into that figure four position. Just stay here for a moment and make sure the hips are level, so you don't want your whole right side rolling up off the mat. Reach your left knee away as best you can and flex your left foot. Just notice what you notice there in terms of your left hip. Either staying here or reaching behind that right thigh and just gently bringing that right knee towards you. So again, seeing if you can keep the spine connected to the mat. You don't want that whole pelvis to roll up from the mat. You can wedge your left elbow into your left thigh a little to press that away, flexing your left foot. And just breathing into the tension of that left hip, groin, maybe hamstring a little bit. Keeping the spine long, the shoulders relaxed. Again, if there's too much tension, just backing off. Let's unwind from that. Place both feet back on the mat, hip width apart. Snuggle your heels towards your bum. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, squeeze your glutes, lift your hips towards the ceiling into your bridge pose. Really lengthen across the front of the hips, reaching the knees away from you, but stay relaxed through your throat, your neck, your shoulders. Big toes are still connected to the mat, feet are pressing down, and exhale, soften down. Let's cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Level out your pelvis and your hips, so keep both connected to the mat. Flex your right foot and gently reach your right knee away, hands towards a T, palms up. Just stay here for a few breaths. And on your next inhale, if it's okay for you, just grab a hold behind the left thigh and hug the thigh towards you. You can nestle your right elbow into the right thigh and still reach that right knee away. Flexing your right foot, you can let your left knee relax. Breathing into that tension and try to keep that whole spine and tailbone connected to the mat. On your next inhale, let's unwind that. Snuggle your feet back towards your bum. Relax your shoulders. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, lift hips towards ceiling. Pressing into the feet, squeezing the glutes, reaching the knees away. Big breath in, full breath out, and relax down. Inhale, hugging knees to chest again. And then you can place your arms at your side, and let's just let both knees fall towards the right. Stack your knees and hips to 90 degrees as best you can. Palms can be into your T, rolling that left shoulder back down to the mat. If you'd rather take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh to anchor the legs towards the right, you can. And then just gently breathing into that twist. Keep the spine long, reach the tailbone away. Relax your ribs into the body. Soften shoulders away from your ears. Inhaling for length, the length of the spine, length of the thigh bones, length of the left arm. And exhale to soften into the pose a little more. Let's inhale back up to center. Adjust your hips back on the mat and give those knees a hug back in towards the chest. Just noticing here. Then let's gently draw the legs towards the left, coming into your left twist. Hips and knees are bent at 90 degrees. You can take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh, stacking your knees as best you can. That right thigh will want to roll back, and that's okay. But if it's available, see if you can stack the knees and then roll back through the rib cage. Draw your right shoulder to the mat and think of lengthening your spine. So sometimes the body will want to try and arch the lower back to find more space in the twist. But ideally, find the space with your inhale and soften with the exhale. You can also think about breathing into the rib cage. Imagine the ribs are expanding like an accordion. And on your exhale, let the ribs soften into the body to allow you to find a little bit more of a twist. Using your breath as a guide. So if the breath is too restricted, just back off a little bit. Let's inhale back through center. Let's hug those knees in toward your chest again. And relax your feet back down to the mat, hip width apart. Snuggle heels towards your bum. Let's come into one more bridge. We'll inhale, and as you exhale, squeeze your glutes, lift the hips. Press into the feet and reach the knees away to lengthen through the front body. Support that position with those glutes, so keep squeezing your bum. Exhale, soften down. Let's take the soles of the feet together and the knees nice and wide. Adjust the closeness of the heels towards the groin in your Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You can take your arms to a T again, or maybe this time to a cactus, where shoulders and elbows are bent at 90 degrees. Breathing into the inner thighs, thinking of length from pelvis to knee. And then imagine you can soften your spine towards the mat. Breathing deeply into the abdomen, the pelvis. And softening the outer thighs towards the mat. On your next inhale, draw those knees back up through center. Use your hands if you like. Give the knees a hug in towards the chest once more. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, straighten the right leg long along your mat. Flex your right foot and draw that left knee in towards you. Now, if you can, take your left arm on the inside of the right knee, your left arm on the inside of the left leg, and reach down towards the outside of the foot. If that's not available, you can always hold the outside of that left shin, that left knee. But if you can, it's like a single happy baby. And you can take that left knee as wide as you like to make that happen, as long as that right side isn't rolling off the mat too much. So flex your left foot, flex your left knee, flex your left hip. And then you can pull up on that left foot to really open up the back side of the left pelvis, your left bum, the glutes, the pelvic floor. You'll get lots of length through the inner thigh muscles, and just continue to breathe there. The right leg is long, connected, and active down to the mat. the spine stays long. Now let's release that and let's cradle the outside of the left knee with the left hand and reach down and hold on to the underside of the left foot and then just drawing that whole lower leg towards you. So it's kind of like you're an upside down pigeon or sleeping pigeon. You could also hold the shin and draw the shin towards you if you like. Looking for is that left knee to go more to the left and the foot and the lower leg to come closer to your face. If it was available, you could take the inside of the left knee with your left hand and gently press that left knee away as you draw that left foot towards you. So now turning outwards at the left hip and finding a little bit deeper movement of the left hip supported with my hands. So just playing with that, whatever works. So coming towards you or using your left hand to gently press away. Nice and active in that right leg still, but flexed and keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Breathing into that. Let's gently unwind that, hugging that left knee towards your chest. As you inhale, knee up, a little hug, and then as you exhale, straighten that right leg long, and gently hugging that right knee towards your chest. Take the inside of your right elbow to the outside of your right foot, and find that happy baby. Remember to keep that left side connected to the mat. If that's not available, you can always hold the outside of your right shin. But if it is, flex your foot, flex your knee, flex your hip. So really open up and find space in that right hip. As long as your breath lets you. So nice full inhale and a nice full exhale. Now let's take the outside of the right foot with your left hand, cradle the outside of your right knee with your right hand. We'll find that gentle sleeping pigeon. So keeping the foot flexed, you can start to draw that whole leg towards you, keeping shoulders relaxed, back of the neck long. And or you can gently start to press that right leg away. So just cradling or exploring that movement a little more. Always staying connected to your breath. If you're having trouble breathing or you're having to hold your breath or you're holding tension somewhere else in the body, you need to just back off a little. Lovely. Let's unwind that. Hugging right knee towards chest again and drawing the left knee in towards you. Give a little squeeze. And then let's just put those feet down on the mat. Knees are bent. Bring your feet back to the width of the mat. Arms to your sides. And just again, gently windshield wiper your legs from side to side. So just noticing what your hips feel like now after some of that mobility. Lovely. So whatever way works for you now, we're going to come up into sitting. You can rock and roll, or you can come on your side, but we're going to come up into a seated position. Let's all meet here. And again, if you want to sit on your cushion, by all means, because we want a nice long spine here. If you feel like you have to roll back on your tailbone, or have trouble keeping that neutral spine, it would probably be best to sit on your cushion. So if you've got your socks off here, let's just find your yoga toes. So I'm just going to weave my fingers in between my toes here. I'm just going to play with my toes a little. So just flex your toes, stretch your toes, and just kind of notice what things feel like there. I'm in my bound angle pose here. So we should be able to find space between the toes here. And really kind of wiggle those around. And then maybe just take a moment to just massage the arch of the foot and just maybe notice what you notice there. It's not quite flip-flop season yet, so maybe our feet aren't feeling too badly. And just give those soles of the feet a bit of a massage. Awesome. We'll have to do another lacrosse ball session at some point. Give our feet some love. Okay, so relax through there now. We're going to come into that 90-90 position of our hips. So I know we've done this with Danny, we've done this in class, but let's take your right foot vertical in front of you, and let's take your left foot, or your left leg rather, out to the side. And again, if you find you're really off kilter, that's where you want to put that cushion under your back bum, your back hip. We can flex both feet, and we want to find as best we can that level position of the hips. So again, if this isn't happy, let's prop some pillows under your bum, under your knee, Tracy, that might be good with you. And let's just find this position as best we can. Just take a nice deep breath here. All the way down to the belly and all the way up the pelvis. And then as you exhale, just soften into it. And just notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders or anywhere else with that. Okay. Then we're going to take our left hand to the top of that left pelvic bone. So just find that. And let's just do some gentle rocking. So I'm going to rock forward with the pelvis and then rock back. So I'm just creating some nice movement and length through that front of the hip and pelvis and just rolling it back towards the mat. So just a little bit of movement there. Just kind of noticing. Ideally, make sure it doesn't come from your spine, but just see if you can find some movement of your hip there. Awesome. Just kind of notice what that feels like. That feels pretty tight in through my deep inner groin and in through my hip itself, but it feels good all at the same time. And then let that relax. Let's just bring both hands forward. So on either side of my foot there. So now I'm just step forward a little bit. You might feel a little bit more through that front inner thigh muscle there. And just kind of notice what that feels like. See if you can keep your sits bones connected to the mat. And just breathe into that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just gently lift your back knee and then let your knee relax back down to the mat. So I'm just lifting the back knee, relaxing that back down. There you go, Gloria. And I'm trying to look towards isolating that at my hip. So again, really nice to get length through the deep pelvis and hip, as well as use the muscles on the outside of the hip to move through that range of motion. So it's a bit more active. So just working into that. Awesome. I'm trying to keep the spine fairly long. Good. We'll let that back leg relax down. And now if it's available to you, I want you to hinge forward and find almost like what it would feel like for a pigeon pose, where you keep the spine long, hinging forward at the hips, So we can get that length through the front hip on the back side. Just breathing into that. Okay. And just notice what you notice there. Good. Let's walk that all the way back up. Let's unwind your legs. And we'll lean back, support yourself with your hands, and just do a little bit of windshield wiper with your hips in this position. Just bring a bit more movement back there. Good. Okay. Let's try that other side. So we'll find that left leg in front this time. So the thigh is out from my, straight forward from my hip. Knees are bent about 90 degrees. I'm going to try and anchor myself down as best I can. Prop a pillow under your back bum if there's a big space there or if you're all kind of twisted. Okay, let's just take a couple breaths and settle into that. Flex your feet if you can. And just kind of notice what is there. It'll definitely highlight some tension in the pelvis and the hips if it's there. Good. And then we're going to just take our hand to the top of that right pelvis. So right on that hip bone there. And we're just going to rotate it forward, roll it forward, roll it back. So just find that movement. Rolling forward, rolling back. Seeing again if you can keep it isolated towards the pelvis and the hip rather than the spine. Good. And then we'll take our hands just on the outside of that front leg. We'll tip forward a little bit and we'll just work towards lifting the back knee. So again, trying to isolate that as best you can rather than the whole body kind of turning back with it. Doesn't need to be a big movement by any means. And if it was not feeling for you, you can certainly come out of this position. You could go back into those windshield wipers. You could go into the bound angle pose, whatever you'd like to do. Are you getting a cramp there, Gloria? I'm getting so much tightness up and in here. Too many lunges these last couple weeks. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's let that relax and then let's just lunge forward or hinge forward rather. Try and keep your sits bones back, length of your spine, and moving the chest towards your front leg. So we create length along the back side of the front hip. And just breathing into that. Let's walk our way out of that. Unwind. Definitely enough of that challenging hip step. And then we'll lean back and we'll windshield wiper from side to side here. So I know that's, so we'll move on. Good for Jessica though. Lots of the pelvis opening. Okay, let's switch hands and knees here. give those pelvis muscles and hip muscles a break, and we'll just move into your cat and cow. So as you inhale, let's just arch the spine. And as you exhale, we'll round the spine. Just really gently. Find some more movement of spine. It worked hard to stabilize you through those 90-90 positions. So I'm just arching and rounding, exploring where any sticky spots are. Breathing into that. Rooting down into your palms to help you find the movement of the spine. So I really press into my palms as I round the spine, and I kind of pull back on my hands as I arch the spine so I can pull my shoulders down. Awesome. From here, we're just going to move up into our down dog. So you can tuck your toes, root into your hands, just lift the knees and lift those hips back up into your down dog. Once you're down dog, think about patting your feet. So it'll feel nice to create lots of length of the back of the legs for that 90-90 sitting work. Think about hugging your biceps towards your ears. Really lifting your tailbone towards the ceiling. As you root down through your hands, your chest moves toward your thighs. And just find that length there. We're going to shift our plank. Jessica and Sarah, you can always go back down to your knees here. And we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. And Jessica and Sarah, you can stay in tabletop, moving through cat and cow, or you could go into your child's pose. For the rest of us, let's inhale and come up either into an up dog or a sphinx. So your choice here. There we go. Just breathing in that up dog. Really reaching the chest towards the front of the room. And softening your lower back. We're going to lower all the way down to our bellies. Once you're in your belly, you're just going to let your forearm, your left forearm, relax in front of you. And I want you to reach and see if you can grab behind you to grab your right foot and bend the knee heel to bum. If that's not available, just bend your knee as far as you're comfortable with. Okay, so we're down on our tummy, bending the right knee, heel to bum. Think about lengthening the quad, so the front of the thigh. Jessica, Sarah, breathe and relax in child's pose, and maybe even walk hands to one side, couple breaths, walk hands to the other side. Those of us on our tummy, let's see what we can do for length of that right quad. Really think about keeping the front of your right hip connected to the floor and watch if that right knee is drifted to the side. Try and keep that leg lined up under the hip. Breathing into that. Let's let that leg relax. We'll press up through our knees and just relax back into child's pose. So just everyone meet in that nice child's pose there. Think about sending your hips towards your heels. Lots of length through the chest. Arms can be outstretched or they can be at your sides. Breathing into the lower back. And then we'll inhale back through center, back down towards your belly so we can do the other side. Jessica and Sarah, if you want to change it up, you can just move in through child's or in through cat and cow. So we're going to Bend that left knee, drawing the foot towards your bum, so heel to bum. I'm all the way down on my tummy. My right elbow's bent. My forearms are crossed in front of my forehead. I'm going to think of pressing my left hip to the floor and reaching the knee away from me for lots of length of the quad. Keeping that left leg underneath the hip, trying not to let it drift to the side. If that's not available, that's still sore, or it is sore, just undo it. You don't have to hold on, just bend the knee as far as you're comfortable with. You could even hook your other ankle underneath the knee and just support it if you wanted. So breathing into length and space of that front quad. Let's let go of that and gently press back into that child's pose. So knees can be wide, untuck your toes, hips come back. Find that long child's pose. Breathing into the back body, softening through the groin. One more deep breath in here. And then exhale. Let's inhale back through tabletop. Reconnect here. We can tuck our toes once we're in tabletop. Take an inhale and we'll come up into that downward dog again. Once you're in your downward dog, you can adjust the leg and then just start to pedal your feet. So take a few moments in this downward dog. Awesome. Good. Think about really pressing through those palms and just sending your chest and your armpits back toward your thighs. So think of being in that pike position or that inverted triangle here. Lots of length to the back of the legs and lots of length to the spine. Think about tipping your tailbone towards the ceiling so you get that little curve return in the lower back. And do one more pose before we make our way back to our back. So we'll inhale the right leg towards the ceiling and we'll exhale and find that right leg towards your right hand. So I'm rooted through that front foot. I'm rooted through my fingertips and I'm in a nice long lunge. We're going to take both hands on the inside of your right foot and we're going to drop the left knee down. I'm going to untuck my left toes. So I'm in a nice, deep, long lunge. I'm going to shift my body weight forward so I feel most of my weight and most of my stretch through the front leg. So I'm really kind of leaning into that. And it's okay if that right knee is out towards the side as long as that right foot's connected. Now, either staying here or very gently, because we don't want to spasm in the left hamstring, very gently, you can bend that back knee and then let it relax. You can bend that back knee, let it relax. And it might be just on the edge of that spasm. So just bend it if you're comfortable with that. If not, just keep that position. But such a good quad and hamstring work there. Good, okay, let that relax. That's a deep pose. So we're gonna shift our weight back, take your right foot back. You can be into your tabletop and back up to your down dog. Take your time up into your down dog and just pedal up there. You can always stay in tabletop and cat and cow if you'd rather. Another couple breaths in that downward dog. Finding that length again. Noticing what you notice there. And then on your inhale, lift your left leg towards the sky, three-legged dog. Sweep the left knee towards your left hand. So now my foot's anchored. I'm in a long lunge. I'm going to take both hands to the outside of my left, or the inside rather, of my left foot and drop the right knee. Untuck the right toes. And really allow you to take some weight into that left foot, left knee. Again, it's kind of like when we were on our back and we were doing that single leg happy baby. It's that same idea, that same opening of that whole underside of that left hip. Now, either staying here, or if it's available to you, bend the right knee and then let it relax. So we want to see, can we work the hamstring while we have lots of length of the quad and the pelvis and the hips. I have lots of weight in my hands. I'm really supporting my body weight. If there's any cramping, you undo that. And let's just do that one more time. Good. So unload that. Sweep your left foot back, adjust yourself back to your tabletop, and let's just go back into your child's pose again so you can just rest there. I know that was quite a deep, kind of challenging pose. It makes such a difference, even though our joints and our bodies in a similar position, it makes such a difference where the support is. So whether you're on your back and finding those positions, or whether you're on your front side trying to organize your body and find those positions. So kind of food for thought that way. So take a couple more deep breaths in your child's pose and just kind of notice what you notice. And then when you're ready, we can make our way all the way down to our back. Make your way onto your back there. If you're more comfortable, Jessica, stay on your side body. Otherwise, let's make our way onto our back. And just take a few moments. If there's any other pose you'd like to do before we head into Shavasana, please find that. Sometimes another happy baby, another twist, anything else that your body might feel good with right now, by all means. But if not, you can make your way back into Shavasana. Use your blankets, your pillows, whatever you got available. And we'll take the next several moments, this next several minutes, to reconnect to stillness in the body, no demands on the body, and just movement and connection to your breath. Notice again the state of the breath, the fullness of the breath, and working towards finding that ease. You can always count your inhale and your exhale if that helps you stay present and keeps too many wandering thoughts from taking up space from you right now. Starting to deepen your breath. And just noticing where you're at right now. Notice your energy. Notice how you feel in your body. No judgment, just noticing. And whenever you're ready, we'll roll onto your right-hand side. Take a moment. And then whenever you're ready from there, we'll just meet in our cross-legged seated position. Just take your time. Let's take our hands to heart center and closing the eyes. We'll take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bowing the head from my light to yours. Namaste.
Thank you, Jen.
Hey.
Thank you, that was great.
A little deep in the hips, but sometimes we need that.
No, it was good. It was really good.
How's your knee feeling, Tracy?
It feels swollen in the back today, like right now,
Oh,
So-
man.
and it's hard to
That,
straighten.
yeah, we're gonna have words. What's that?
It's Yasha's fault.
It is. We're in our crazy challenges. My goodness. My goodness.
But it's
Ever
feeling okay
felt-
now. Well, it's just hurts a little, but it feels better.
Okay. Okay. Everybody else okay? Yeah. Yeah. Jessica, do you think you'll be with us next week?
Part of me says I hope not.
I hope not.
When is the
I got
baby
him.
We'll take no offense if you're not here.
Yeah,
Just go have that baby already, eh?
yeah, really. Thanks. Hopefully today helped.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep moving. Keep moving for sure. That's always a good thing. So, all right. I will sign off. It's time for bed.
Thanks, Jen.
Let me know.
That was awesome.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank